what I would like to see is variations in the hue. That'll happen if you vary the color as you go along. I think I'll just use a number 10 here. I was going to use my big fat mop, but I don't think I will for this. Okay, so I'm going to start with the lilacs. I'm going to just paint with a wet brush. So I'm working on arches. So there are little dry pockets as I'm doing this. Now there's a buttercup right in the middle here, and I'm going to go around that.
So you're doing all the lilacs, not just
all
one
the lilacs at once.
A time. Okay.
Just going to let them flow into each other. Q Rose and Cerulean up here. Where the buds haven't opened, they're very reddish. Now I'm pressing down a little. I like having those air holes here. A little more dilute. Over here where the light's hitting it, I've added some very dilute color. I'm working in a kind of a calligraphic way right here with the silhouettes of some of the flowers. Okay, now a little richer, pinker color here. And then back to the bluer color. And it's starting to dry up here, but that'll be okay because then I can get a more silhouetted sort of these little florets. Oh, not as dry as I thought. And just putting some darker spots down here while it's still wet. This is what I love. This is just letting the watercolor do what it likes to do. Squinting my eyes, I might even put a little cobalt blue in this area because it's in shadow. That might be a little strong, but I'll mix that with the pink. Okay, I'm coming down to my nice little buttercup. Now what I could do now, and I might just do that, is just put in a few blooms just to suggest flower shapes. Okay, so I'll just touch a few spots. Well, I'm going to put in some darker color here. And that's going to create a bloom. So you can decide if you want a bloom or not. Seeing more shadow color over here. I wouldn't mind if there was a little blending going on with the lilacs. And I want to have this kind of mess of greenery down here, but with some air holes. And I'm going to drop some deeper color under here.
It's wet on dry for the leaves?
Yes.
Okay.
And this leaf is in front of the glass. So now I'm going to go below the glass. First, I'm going to put in a kind of a neutral color, but same colors as up here, but I'm thinking of them as my gray. So this is Cerulean with the pink. You can tell I'm kind of chicken here. I'm painting with the tip of my brush instead of the body of my brush. So this is better. See, I was supposed to wet that area before I drop the color and I'm forgetting. Okay, so you want to find the area you want to paint in the glass, wet it, and then drop the pigment in. That's what I did not do. You want it to look very fluid. Now I'm going to wet this edge. This looks dark to me. And it spreads out. I'm going to take that, maybe a slightly darker color. So here I am painting with the tip because it's such a thin little bit I'm painting. So now I got down to the wet spot. Oh, what I'm doing here is I'm just laying down a thin wash of the cerulean with the pink. So it's kind of a gray. And I'm going to bring it down to here. So it's not a highlight. It's got tone to set off the highlights. And now I'm going to go into my green, but this is wet, so it's not going to be real distinct. And then when it dries, I'll make it more distinct. Now above the water, I think I'll do what I did before. I'm going to wet it, but I'm going to wet it like I did the lilacs. I'm going to draw with a wet brush. And I want to make sure I leave a little line of dry paper in between for the water level. Well, now that I'm doing the green leaves, I'm enjoying myself. Doesn't seem as fraught as when I was doing the glass.